There's something inside you that won't stay quiet. Maybe it's a conviction. Maybe it's a question. Maybe it's a truth you keep rehearsing in the car when no one else is listening. Whatever it is, you've tried to push it down. You've tried to busy yourself out of it. You've tried to convince yourself it doesn't matter that much. And it doesn't go away. It just builds. Ancient truth for the modern week. From the dusty roads of the 1st century to the high-speed life of the 21st, we're stripping away the tradition to find the heart of the story. I'm your host, Joe, and this is Monday to Sunday. The prophet Jeremiah knew that feeling. And this week the church gives us one of his most honest moments. A moment so honest it almost feels inappropriate to read out loud. Listen to what he says to God. "O Lord, you have enticed me, and I was enticed. You have overpowered me, and you have prevailed. I have become a laughingstock all day long. Everyone mocks me." That's a complaint. That's an accusation even. Jeremiah is essentially saying, "You tricked me into this. I didn't ask for this job. And now everybody I know is laughing at me." He has every reason to stop. He has every reason to walk away from the whole prophet thing and go back to being a normal person in a normal town with a normal job. But then he says this, "If I say, I will not mention him, or speak any more in his name, then within me there is something like a burning fire shut up in my bones. I am weary with holding it in, and I cannot." A burning fire in his bones. That phrase has been quoted for 2,600 years. And there's a reason. It names something almost everyone has felt at some point. The thing inside you that won't stay quiet. The conviction you can't unbelieve. The truth you can't unsee. You can try to push it down. You can change the subject. You can keep your head down at the dinner table. You can let the moment pass. But the fire doesn't go out. It just builds. And here is where Jesus walks into the conversation. Because in the same chapter where he is about to say some of the hardest things in the entire gospel, he stops. And he says one of the most tender things he ever says. "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father. And even the hairs of your head are all counted. So do not be afraid. You are of more value than many sparrows." A sparrow was the cheapest thing you could buy in the marketplace. It was the food of the poor. It was the throwaway sacrifice. And Jesus says, even one of those, God notices when it falls. You. He's looking at you. The God who counted those sparrows knows the number of hairs on your head. The same God who is asking you to carry something costly is the God who has not stopped paying attention to you for 1 second of your life. He knows about the fire in your bones. He's the one who put it there. And only after he has said that, only after he has gathered his disciples close and reminded them they are seen, does Jesus tell them the harder thing? "Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And one's foes will be members of one's own household." Read that slowly. Whatever you thought following Jesus was going to do for your family dynamics, Jesus says it's going to do the opposite. Not because Jesus wants to divide families, but because the gospel reorders every other loyalty in your life, and the people closest to you are going to feel it first. The psalmist for this week knew this too. Psalm 69. "I have become a stranger to my own kindred, an alien to my mother's children." That's not the language of someone who got disowned for being a bad person. That's the language of someone who got disowned for being a faithful one. This is the part of the gospel we don't put on the inspirational poster. But it lands different when you hear it in the order Jesus said it, when the sparrows come first. The cost is real. He's also still counting you. Paul names the same dynamic in Romans 6. "We have been buried with him by baptism into death, so that just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, so we too might walk in newness of life. The version of you that found a way to stay quiet at the table, Paul says that version was buried. The version of you that ranked your standing in the room above your standing with God, that's the old self. The fire in the bones is the new self. The silence at the table is the old self. And you can't serve both forever. So what do we actually do with this on a Tuesday? I don't think the assignment this week is to go pick a fight. I want to be careful here because I've seen people use Matthew 10 to justify being a jerk to their families, and that's not what Jesus said. He didn't say go cause division. He said the gospel will cause division, and don't be surprised when it does. The assignment, I think, is smaller and harder. This week, in some specific conversation you've been avoiding, say the true thing. Not the inflammatory thing. Not the hot take. The true thing. The conviction you've been softening for the sake of the room. The boundary you've been not naming because it would be uncomfortable. The honest answer you've been replacing with a polite one. And then, this is the part Jeremiah needed, and we need, bring it to God the way Jeremiah does. Tell him the cost. Tell him you're tired of holding it in. Tell him you're a laughingstock if that's how it feels. Jeremiah didn't pretend to be okay, and God didn't ask him to. The fire in your bones is not a curse. It's a sign that something in you is still alive. This Thursday, I want to introduce you to a man who lived this whole passage from the day he was born. The church remembers him on June 24th, the Nativity of John the Baptist. Luke tells us that even before John came out of the wilderness to start preaching, he was already there. The child grew and became strong in spirit, and he was in the wilderness until the day he appeared publicly to Israel. John didn't have to figure out how to handle the fire in the bones in his 30s. He was raised in it. And we'll sit with him on Thursday. For now, whatever conversation you've been avoiding, whatever truth you've been keeping, just barely under the surface, he counts sparrows. He's counting you. And the cost of saying it is real, but the cost of holding it in any longer is greater. Thanks for being here. I'll see you Thursday. And this has been Monday to Sunday. Thanks for walking this road with me. Now take this truth into your week, and I'll see you on the next chapter.